Welcome to Alchemist Tribune Deep Dives, hosted by the Academic Renegade. We're here to share insights and analysis from the latest articles in the Alchemist Tribune. Each week, we explore how doctorate holders are transforming academic expertise into entrepreneurial success. Let's dive in.
Good morning, listeners. Today, we're exploring a fascinating piece from the Alchemist Tribune on content creation strategies. It's titled, Crafting Captivating Content: Strategies to Engage and Retain Your Audience. I think this topic is particularly relevant for academics transitioning into entrepreneurial spaces. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. The academic to entrepreneur pipeline is growing rapidly, and effective communication is the bridge between specialised knowledge and market impact. What struck me immediately about this article was its emphasis on audience understanding as the foundation of content strategy.
That's right. The article opens with this brilliant dinner party analogy. You wouldn't serve sushi to guests who only eat pizza. It's such a simple yet effective way to illustrate the importance of knowing your audience before creating content.
I found that refreshingly pragmatic. In academia, we're often trained to focus on the rigour of our research rather than its reception. But in entrepreneurial contexts, understanding your audience isn't just beneficial. It's essential. The article mentions that targeted content can increase engagement rates by up to 70%. That's a statistically significant difference that shouldn't be ignored.
Speaking of statistics, I appreciated how the article balances qualitative and quantitative approaches to audience research. It outlines 3 key strategies: conducting thorough market research, utilizing analytics and surveys, and creating detailed buyer personas. What's your take on these methodologies?
I think they represent a comprehensive framework. Market research provides the broader context, analytics offer objective performance metrics, and buyer personas humanize the data. What's particularly valuable is the emphasis on evolving these personas over time as you gather new insights. It's reminiscent of the iterative process we use in academic research.
Exactly. It's applying the scientific method to content creation. Form a hypothesis about your audience, test it with content, analyze the results, and refine your approach. I'm curious about your thoughts on the article's section about crafting headlines. The claim that 80% of readers only scan headlines before deciding to engage seems alarmingly high.
That statistic actually aligns with cognitive psychology research on information processing in digital environments. We know that attention is a scarce resource online. The article provides practical strategies for headline creation, using powerful adjectives, incorporating numbers, posing questions, and clarifying the value proposition. These techniques leverage what we know about cognitive engagement.
The emphasis on testing variations resonated with me as well. It's essentially A/B testing, a standard practice in scientific research that's equally valuable in content creation. I'm curious why you think the article places such emphasis on storytelling as a persuasive technique.
That's a fascinating question. Storytelling activates different neural pathways than factual information alone. When we process narratives, our brains engage not just in semantic processing, but also in emotional response and personal relevance assessment. The article acknowledges this by suggesting the integration of personal anecdotes and case studies with hard data.
Which brings us to an interesting tension in content creation: balancing emotion and evidence. The article recommends incorporating research to build credibility while using stories to create emotional connections. This dual approach addresses both System 1 and System 2 thinking, to use Kahneman's terminology.
That's an excellent point. System 1 thinking is fast, intuitive, and emotional, while System 2 is slower, more deliberate, and analytical. Effective content engages both systems. The article's section on calls to action illustrates this well. CTAs need to be emotionally compelling, while also clearly communicating rational benefits.
Let's talk about the SEO section. There's a notable quote from Rand Fishkin: "Good content isn't enough. You've got to make it discoverable." This speaks to a challenge many academics face when transitioning to entrepreneurial contexts: creating brilliant content that no one sees.
Indeed. The technical aspects of SEO might seem far removed from academic publishing, but they're essential in digital spaces. The article outlines key strategies: keyword research, optimizing headings and meta descriptions, and balancing SEO requirements with natural writing flow. It's fascinating how the principles of information retrieval have evolved in the digital age.
What I found particularly valuable was the emphasis on long-tail keywords. These more specific phrases often have less competition and better conversion rates. It's analogous to finding a niche research area in academia where you can make a significant contribution.
Exactly. And just as academic research requires continuous refinement, the article emphasizes the importance of a feedback loop in content creation. Analytics tools provide data on performance, which informs experimentation and testing, leading to more refined content strategies.
This cycles back to the scientific method we mentioned earlier. The Robert Collier quote captures it perfectly. Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. Continuous improvement through systematic analysis is as crucial in content creation as it is in academic research.
I'm reflecting on how this article bridges academic and entrepreneurial approaches. It combines rigorous analytical thinking with creative communication strategies. The section on balancing SEO with natural writing flow particularly resonates. Technical optimization without sacrificing readability or engagement.
That balance is key. Many academics turned entrepreneurs struggle with translating complex ideas into accessible content without oversimplification. The article suggests that effective content respects the audience's intelligence while ensuring clarity and relevance.
I think there's an important meta lesson here about knowledge translation. Whether we're creating content for students, peers, or customers, the fundamental challenge is similar. How do we transform specialized knowledge into meaningful, engaging, and actionable communication?
Absolutely. And the article's final section on continuous improvement emphasizes that this is an ongoing process, not a one-time achievement. Each piece of content provides learning opportunities that inform future strategies. This growth mindset is essential for successful transitions from academia to entrepreneurship.
What about the visual elements mentioned in the article? There were references to images that obviously we can't see in our podcast format, but the article seems to incorporate visual content as part of its strategy.
Good observation. Visual elements serve multiple purposes in content creation. They break up text, making it more digestible. They can illustrate complex concepts more efficiently than words alone. And properly optimized images contribute to SEO through alt text. The article mentions this as part of technical optimization.
This reminds me of the multimodal learning theory in education, the idea that combining visual and textual information enhances comprehension and retention. As academics transition to content creation, leveraging multiple modalities can significantly increase engagement.
Exactly. And it's worth noting that the article itself demonstrates many of the principles it advocates. It uses storytelling, incorporates evidence, employs subheadings for clarity, and includes calls to action. It's practicing what it preaches.
That self-reflexivity is valuable. Before we wrap up, I'd like to highlight one more point that I think deserves emphasis. The article suggests that creating content is not just about writing and publishing, but about creating connections with your audience. This relationship-building aspect is crucial for entrepreneurs.
Well said. In academia, publication is often seen as the end goal. In entrepreneurial contexts, content is a means to building ongoing relationships with your audience. These relationships drive engagement, trust, and ultimately business growth.
It seems we've come full circle to the importance of understanding your audience. Whether in academia or entrepreneurship, effective communication begins with empathy for your readers and their needs. The technical strategies, from headline crafting to SEO optimization, all serve this fundamental goal.
I think that's the perfect note to end on. This article provides valuable strategies for academics transitioning to entrepreneurial content creation, grounded in both research-based principles and practical application. The key takeaway is that effective content requires both analytical rigor and creative communication, skills that academics already possess but need to redirect toward new audiences and purposes.
Thanks for joining us on Alchemist Tribune Deep Dives. We're the Academic Renegade crew, reminding you that your doctorate is more than a degree. It's your launchpad to entrepreneurial success. For more insights, visit us at The Alchemist Tribune, where we're bridging the gap between academia and enterprise. Until next time, keep innovating.